Good day, Internet. This is DTNS Live for Friday, January 17th, 2025. From Studio Animal House, I'm Sarah Lane.
In Los Angeles, I'm Tom Merritt.
From Columbus, Ohio, I'm Rob Dunwood.
Drawing the top tech stories from Cleveland, Ohio, I'm Len Peralta.
And I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
Daily Tech News Show Live is made possible by you right there. Look, you look at yourself. You made this possible. Pat, Mike Cortez, Erwin Stour, and Pepper Giese, among many others. If that's not your name, I still meant you too.
Welcome to DTNS Live. This is the show where we're discussing the tech news to help us all better understand what we've got going on today. How's everybody doing? Tom, we missed you yesterday.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was busy helping getting the briefing together from behind the scenes and doing some other stuff. But it's good to be here and have clear blue skies, even a frost warning overnight.
It was cold last night.
There's some blue skies and clouds around my neighborhood. Yeah. So Len and Rob, you guys have talk about frost warnings.
So it's actually, I don't know about you, Len, in Cleveland, but it's warming up here in Columbus. So it's actually like 38, and all the snow that we've had is kind of melting off. I would imagine it's probably relatively the same in Cleveland, Len.
Yeah, I think it's like upper 40s, and yesterday was a blizzard almost up here, and now it's like all melting away. So if you don't like the weather in Cleveland, just wait.
Just wait. 10 minutes. Just wait. It's probably already different.
Exactly.
What about you, Roger? Are you going to go to Universal Studios later today?
No, I blew my my season pass last month. So also,
but it's a season pass.
It is. It is true. It's a season pass, but it was like
something like I blew my leg out.
That was terrible.
It was like you get 3 entries, and we used all 3 entries.
Okay.
Well, we are here to talk tech news. We will talk about food in the show, though. So for those of you who like to talk about food and tech together, we hear you. We see you
almost every day. Yeah.
And we will be here for you. But let's start out with the quick hits.
Fred noted this one on our subreddit. The U.S. Supreme Court upheld a law to block distribution of TikTok starting Sunday, January 19th. As of that date, it will be illegal for app stores and internet hosting services to distribute TikTok. TikTok will still work if you have the app, unless ByteDance itself shuts the app down, which it has indicated it might. As for new developments, the Biden administration indicated they are unlikely to enforce the law, leaving it up to the new administration or the individual app stores to decide if they're worried they'll change their mind and enforce the law and fine them later. Apple, Google, and Oracle haven't commented. If you want a full blow-by-blow breakdown of what the decision was and what it means, check out the Daily Tech News Show briefing at dailytechnewsshow.com.
The U.S. and Norway have signed a technology safeguards agreement. This lets American satellites launch from Norway's Andøya spaceport in the Arctic, joining countries like Australia and the UK in authorizing the transfer of U.S. equipment to their launch facilities. The Norwegian government says that the accord's potential enhances both nations' security and reinforces Norway's strategic importance as a NATO ally in the Arctic.
RW Nash posted this on our subreddit. Apple released iOS 18.3 Beta 3 to developers Thursday, and among the changes are the removal of Apple Intelligence notification summaries for the news and entertainment category of apps. While the summaries are largely accurate, nobody seems to love them, and there have been a few instances of them being wildly wrong with news stories.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of those.
Indeed.
Wildly.
RW Nash also posted this one. The FTC has ordered GoDaddy to improve its security practices, requiring HTTPS APIs, mandatory multi-factor authentication, better threat monitoring. The FTC cited GoDaddy's failure to protect customers, leading to multiple breaches between 2019 and 2022 that exposed sensitive data from millions of websites. The settlement means regular security audits and an end to misleading claims about the company's protections going forward.
So basically, they said you have to do the least to be secure.
Yeah, pretty much.
So a fire broke out Thursday at Moss Landing Power Plant in California, housing one of the largest battery injury storage facilities in the world. An official at the Monterey County Sheriff's Office said the blaze began in a building containing lithium-ion batteries. The plant is run by Vistra Corp, which was evacuated along with people in the surrounding neighborhoods. No injuries were reported. The Monterey Sheriff says leaving the building and batteries to burn comes from advice from fire experts.
Yeah. On Thursday, the Federal Trade Commission alleged that General Motors and OnStar, which is GM's subscription-based in-vehicle safety and security system, not only collected, but used and sold drivers' precise geolocation data plus driving behavior information from millions of vehicles without properly notifying the consumers that were using the technology and getting their consent. It issued a proposed order to ban GM from selling this kind of data to consumer reporting agencies for 5 years. The FTC's order will be subject to a 30-day public comment period before a final ruling goes into effect. Well, I don't have a GM car, but I will say that if I felt that any vehicle that I was driving was taking information not only about geolocation, which is a huge problem, obviously, but information about, do I brake too hard? Was I speeding on the freeway? Do I have, I don't know, what an insurance company would consider unusual driving habits, whether it be time of day or, do I have, sufficient gas in the car type stuff. That's all stuff that I should be opting into.
It is the collecting I can sort of see, but it's the selling I think is what's.
But why collect if not?
Well,
to sell?
There's lots of reasons you would collect for diagnostics, right?
They're diagnostics, and I don't know if
Sure.
GM used to have OnStar, and that was like one of their big things. Like if you got,
That's what this story is about. It's about OnStar. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean my dad's used that service before, and they locate you if you are in like, hey, my tire got a flat, I need some help or whatever, and you don't know where exactly you are. You can sort of like, yeah, I'm off the road, I'm off Highway 5 over by like the Harris Ranch restaurant.
That's temporary though. You could share your location during an incident and not have it collected and stored. But I think for like improving customer service and understanding like how often does this happen? How much should we be prepared for these kinds of incidents? Collecting that vehicle data has perfect justifications. I'll be honest, I don't even mind if it's collected for aggregate use. I know that can be disaggregated and used to identify me potentially. But if they're just like, we want to tell an advertiser how often our users are, going to this area so that they can make an informed decision about whether to advertise to GM users in their ads, I'd be okay with that. I just need to know. I just need to be able to say you can do it for that. Yeah.
And the complaint does say GM, it's not so much that GM was doing this stuff because like you said, Tom, there are legitimate reasons that this could help for diagnostics and help you be a better driver. The complaint says GM used a misleading enrollment process to get consumers to sign up for OnStar, and some users were unaware of OnStar's Smart Driver feature. GM says it ended its Smart Driver program last year. It unenrolled customers, stopped selling telematics data to analytics companies LexisNexis and Verisk. FTC saying, well, that's not good enough. We need to make sure that you take more steps and you don't collect data.
There's a little shell game going on here too. Oh, go ahead, Rob.
I don't know that to be a fact, but one can imagine that maybe GM, when they canceled the program, had a heads up that the FTC was going to do something, or somebody was looking, some information got out. It was like, yeah, let's go ahead and end this now and hope for the best.
The investigation was already underway.
Yeah, so they knew something was going. Yeah. And I said this in the green room when we were talking about this story. I think it is just safe from a consumer standpoint that if you're using any service that collects data, you should just assume that they are going to aggregate it, they're going to use it, and that they will also figure out that, well, if this is good for us, if we can actually do positive things with this data, there's probably people who will pay us money who can also do some positive things with it. So it's just probably safe to assume, unless they are explicitly telling you we are not doing this because the law told them that they couldn't, or a regulation or a rule told them that they couldn't, you might just want to assume it and not be caught off guard by it. I think that, we keep seeing this kind of story come up and up and up. And it's why? Because, well, GM is making money by selling it. So from a fiduciary standpoint, if we can make money and it's not illegal to do this, let's do it. Where it gets dicey is, well, you didn't really let people know how you were collecting the data. You didn't let them know what you were doing with the data after you collected it. And that's where, the FTC is saying, we got to slap you on the hand a little bit here.
Yeah, I think that collecting data, again, it's like, if I've committed a crime and my data is collected and somebody comes after me, well, that's a whole different situation. If data is collected about my driving habits and that somehow helps any company, GM in this instance, make my car safer for me or anybody who might drive it after me, I don't really have a huge problem with that. I know a lot of people say, well, what about insurance? If your insurance gets jacked up and you're like, well, I wasn't in an accident recently and I haven't submitted a claim, what's going on with that? That's where I think a lot of people start to see like, this is fishy.
Yeah, there's a little shell game going on here. There's a New York Times article that investigated and found that GM was selling data to a data broker that it knew was being used by insurance companies. It's unclear to me from that article whether that was identifiable information or whether it was just, they did data processing on it to try to identify people. And the accusation is that insurance companies raised the rates because of that data in some cases. This FTC order is not about that. It doesn't talk about that, but it affects that. So the fact that you're saying you can't sell data to any data broker for 5 years, that will stop that from happening, even without them having to accuse GM of doing it. If it's happening at all, which it's still unclear to me whether it was or not. But everybody's going to believe it happened, so this will put an end to that.
I also wonder how much data like this might not be. Sarah, you specifically now will have your insurance, rate hiked, but we've seen enough activity in this zip code
area.
GM owners tend to do this. So if you have a GM car, you might tend to do that. So we're going to raise your rate.
Socialize.
It might help them with their actuary to give them a more a broader and more complete statistical analysis of
absolutely
the types of accidents.
Yeah, time of day. What do people do?
And even what type of car? If it's the same car, the same type of things are happening. That might make an insurance company say, if you want this car, you're going to charge a little more.
Personal data. But if it's, all GM Yukons happen to have this, then yeah.
And, it's weird because back in the day, a lot of this telematic data was sort of pitched as you can let the customer like, hey, you're in for an oil change in about 300 miles. We'll just order all the stuff that you need and you can pull into a GM service, at your dealership and they'll be ready to go. It was all this like kind of frictionless, serve the customer. But then like there's all this additional revenue stream that you're mentioning, Rob, that they can make off the stuff they already have. Like who wouldn't try to turn an extra $1 or $3?
And not for nothing, I'll be the guy who says the thing that nobody likes to hear. But the more data insurance companies have, the more precise they can make their insurance policies, which can lower rates for people. And I know you're going to be like, well, when will they ever lower rates? But they will lower rates for safe drivers because that's just free money. And if they can get them on their insurance plan, then that's a way to get somebody over to your insurance plan versus a competitor. And so if they don't have access to this data, then it means less precision. That is a downside to this.
I've had my rates lowered just because I changed zip codes. Same car,
right.
same
Absolutely.
me. Also has gone the other direction. So.
But there's less likely somebody's going to hit you in a certain zip code versus another. So
they raised my rates for moving, and they flat out told me it's just there's more expensive cars in your area. It's like, all right, that seems kind of weird, but sure.
Right, it's like, what's that have to do with me?
It's just because if there is an accident, the amount they would have to pay out is higher.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, yeah, car insurance. What fun. Rob, let's talk about something that's also fun, and that is a new report out by Pew Research surveying teens and their use of ChatGPT for schoolwork. I think depending on the teen, they might say it's the best thing since sliced bread. So what's the data telling us?
Well, Sarah, a little more than a quarter of U.S. teens age 13 to 17, 26% to be exact, use ChatGPT for schoolwork. This is up from 13% in 2023. So it basically has doubled in a year. ChatGPT usage grew among all demographics. It should be noted, however, that Black and Hispanic teens use ChatGPT at a 31% clip, outpacing their white counterparts at a 22% clip. I think the bigger question, though, is should students be permitted to use ChatGPT and generative AI in general to assist them with their schoolwork? So, as I think about this, I used to be in the camp. I don't know, I don't want kids cheating. I don't want them using it a year ago. But since that time, I have used ChatGPT. I've used Gemini. I've used a lot of generative AI. I would say I darn near use it daily on weekdays. And I'm not cheating. I'm not doing work. I'm just using it to make the work that I do easier. And I'm wondering if, we need to relook at this for students, because I think it was in a 2023 report that a quarter of public K through 12 teachers say that AI tools in K through 12 education is actually doing more harm than good. About a third say that there's about an equal mix of benefit and harm, while only 6% says that it does more good than harm. And I wonder if, just like me, if the teachers, if they're polled now, if they actually if we'll see those numbers move at all, because I really think that we have to stop thinking of using generative AI as just of a way to cheat. You're just using it to answer your math questions. You're just using it to write your tone papers. I don't know that that's what students are using it for. And I am of the mind that they actually may, learn more, may be able to create, to use their own imagination. They may be able to distill the information that they're getting and make some inferences into it and actually give you work that is their own. And it was just the generative AI tools were used to help them get to that point that they ultimately got to. So what do you guys think on that?
I mean, go ahead, Roger. You've got kids.
I will say it really depends on A, the class, like what subject matter you're learning, B, the age group you're talking about, and C, what you hope to gain out of it. For example, my eldest daughter loves using a calculator, but she needs to know how to do multiplication with a pencil and paper. She needs to be able to do that, without relying on essentially an electronic, cheat sheet for all the stuff, because she needs to know what 5 times 5 is off the top of her head. Because when you get into higher levels of mathematics, you just can't skirt around a lot of those basic foundational things. Mm-hmm. Now, as you move up, for example, if you are writing a midterm paper on like the reasons for the fall of the Roman Empire, ChatGPT could be a great resource in the same way that an encyclopedia or Wikipedia or an online source could be. And so it's not that it's either really it's bad or it's good. It really is dependent on the goal of what the class is. What are you trying to learn, or what are you trying to teach, and the way it's used for that schoolwork.
Yeah, this pardon me. This makes me think that, first of all, ChatGPT and other LLMs and generative models not going away. No school is going to keep kids from using this kind of stuff. So let's just say, we're done with that. What can a math teacher do to say, you can answer basically any question using this model, but do you understand why the model was correct? Do you understand what processes you would do as a student? I think you're going to have to, and this is probably something that's going to fall on educational systems, figure out how to teach kids differently. Because, you're in an English class, you're a sophomore in high school, you're supposed to read a book and you're supposed to tell the teacher what the book was about. Well, if everybody, submits some ChatGPT version of their book summary, the teacher's going to be like, okay, nobody gets an A, nobody tried. How can you use that to then expand your imagination, and give me something that is uniquely you, which is what the whole process of an English class is, especially at that age. I think there's going to be a lot of reimagining what teachers do, how they grade you based on, are you phoning it in? Meaning, are you not really, learning that 5x5 thing? And I think that's actually probably going to be a big challenge for teachers.
25.
Yeah. Well,
it is 25. Yes.
And it's really interesting for, I was thinking like you could have one of the exercises you could have as, and I don't want to tell teachers how to do their job, is that like, hey, ask ChatGPT how to write this, give the, copy paste the answer, and then highlight everything that's grammatically incorrect with the way ChatGPT produced, this paragraph or factually, like, in other words, you're copy editing ChatGPT as sort of a turnaround on having the work done by ChatGPT for you. And I think it's what you were saying, Rob. I think there needs to be a re-understanding of how we teach, but also really emphasizing what the goals are, right? If you understand that what you're doing with multiplication is just a different, like what I tell my child, it's like math is really all about different ways of counting different numbers, very large numbers, but in a way that you aren't sitting there counting, 1 million toes and fingers to come up with an answer.
Yeah, when I think of generative AI and how it can be used, I think back to a great television show, Star Trek TNG. And there are multiple episodes where it was either Geordie LaForge or Data. They were using the computer. They might have created a simulation in the hologram to where they're using basically all knowledge that is known that these computers have access to, but they're still thinking through and getting to a solution based off of the computer's assistance. The computer wasn't answering the question. The computer wasn't actually doing the work. They were doing the work. They were just using the computer as an aid to get through enormous amounts of data that even Data couldn't crunch on his own. This is something that you needed a computer the size of a spaceship to actually do. And I kind of think that that's where where these generative AI tools are going to be useful for students. And I think maybe more towards the high school, middle school, at the minimum, high school probably, where you're writing a paper on X, Y, and Z, and then you use ChatGPT to go out and, hey, I want to get sources on all of this stuff. And it just does it for you very quickly. So I think one of the things we could actually see come from this is that for the types of LLMs that'll be used in school, maybe they will actually start baking in the sources of here's where I am getting this information from, so that the student can then go check it, read it, double check it, and once again, distill that information into whatever final paper or report they're actually creating.
Yeah, we got a lot of emails in the past from teachers, because this topic comes up from time to time, just talking about their ways of dealing with this. And several of them said, I teach my class how to use ChatGPT. I don't forbid them from using ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what a lot of us are talking about here is, that idea of like the really good teachers out there are saying, hey, there's this tool. I know you're curious. I know you're going to use it. Let me help you use it to help you. And just know, we'll be able to catch you if you cheat. And there's various levels of accuracy to that statement. But if the student thinks there's a chance, they're less likely to use it. And we've seen stats that say that the students are not likely to use it to make a paper. But what this Pew study is saying is they're using it to help them with their homework. And I think good teachers will help them make the better use of it. And the tools have been getting better too, don't you think?
They're definitely getting better. And like I said, I'm really curious to see what teachers in the 2024 report say about their usage. It was a quarter of them, this is bad for students. Right. I don't know that number will be, it could be, but I would have to guess that teachers, just like I, have kind of come around to the use of generative AI as a tool and something that is an aid, like a calculator. Calculators don't make you cheat; they just help you count faster.
You can't use the calculator when you're doing an addition test, right? They're like no calculators, right? But you can use the calculator when you're doing a calculus test. It's different tool rules for different situations.
I'm curious to know how many of these students swapped using a Google search to learn more about a topic, the research,
absolutely.
and they're just like, I'll just ask ChatGPT instead. fall of Roman Empire.
Especially now that it adds links more often.
Yes.
When you ask a question, it'll be like, here's the answer, but here's a link if you want to get to where I found the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an important point, Roger, is it's not as if students couldn't look up something on Google search and be like, I don't really want to read this book. Like, what's the book about type thing, Cliff Notes. And
encyclopedias. When I was a kid, people copied their papers.
Yeah.
I mean,
of
maybe
course,
some of us in this room copied their papers out of a world book.
Totally.
OpenAI.
And we could
Britannica.
have, with all the links that we have in this exact show, I could have a couple hours ago just been like, just like, give me something and we'll all just read that. Like, we could do that.
Yeah,
but you would
it's
all
possible.
know the difference.
Right.
The audience would be like, that doesn't sound like them. No, that doesn't sound right. It's like you can use it as a crutch. Well, crutch maybe isn't the right term. You can use it as a tool. But if you use it through and through, that I don't know, for whatever project you're making, maybe that's fine. But, for a student who's supposed to be an individual who, in scholastics is a teacher is supposed to be like, this student is good at this student is less good at that thing, but also very good at this other thing. That's where I think this stuff gets muddied.
Yeah, indeed. Well, folks, you can prove to us that you aren't just a chatbot by joining the conversation in our Discord, which you can join by linking to a Patreon account at patreon.com/DTNS.
Well, as a person who loves to get meals delivered, technology has made it easier than ever to get better meals from everywhere delivered, depending on where you are, of course. But it's not always the cheapest option. Tom, you wanted to talk about Goldbelly delivering Michelin star meals. Ooh la la, to your door.
Indeed, yeah.
But yeah, how much work is it?
$160 a month. We'll just cut to the chase. Like it ain't cheap, but that serves 4 people, so we can get to whether that's worth it. But let me tell you what they're doing. Goldbelly, if you don't know Goldbelly, it built its business on delivering meals from top restaurants around Canada and the United States by mail. Really took off during the pandemic in 2020 because you could get Essa bagels from New York delivered to your house. You could get barbecue from Texas. You could get etouffee from New Orleans. They have had subscriptions in the past. They have a monthly sandwich subscription. They have a cookie subscription, a pie subscription, a pizza subscription.
Everybody loves pie.
Exactly.
Like
They
pizza,
even
that's
have
for sure.
a New York City subscription where they'll just give you stuff from New York City restaurants once a month. The boxes that you get have ingredients, they have instructions, they have a special gift. And in the Michelin star chef situation, it's a gift from that Michelin star chef. The chef a month gives you a different chef. So in January, you're going to get shrimp and chicken paella from Jose Andres. Jose Andres is like the premier Spanish chef.
Kitchen.
Yeah. And they're actually providing meals in Los Angeles for victims of the fires and for firefighters and stuff. But he's also the first chef off here. But you've also got, I don't know if these are recognizable to everybody, but Chef David Chang, Chef Michael Simon. Yeah, Momofuku guy. Danny Meyer's Union Square Cafe. Just, really, really well-respected chefs preparing a meal to send to you. You've got to do some work. I can't quite tell if it's like meal kit or like Goldbelly usually is, which is some of it's frozen, some of it you have to assemble and then you just heat it up. But $160 for 4 people.
No, okay. So the dumb question maybe, but $160 per month where people say, ooh, well, that's kind of pricey for 4 people for the entire month every day?
One meal a month.
Okay, so that is a good distinction. Yes,
so $40 a person.
So this is what my parents and I used to do. Maybe once a month, maybe once every couple of months. But my mom cooked food at home. That's what we did. But maybe once a month it would be like, let's go out to pizza.
Sure.
and that's going to be like a fun thing for the family. We'll rack up a couple more bucks than we certainly would have if we would have made the leftovers in the fridge. But, we're treating ourselves.
I don't know that I would want to sign up to a monthly subscription for one meal per month. But if it's roughly 160, maybe if it's like a la carte, maybe 175, 180, and I could just get it once and get a meal delivered, I can see doing that. I personally cook because food is necessary for life. I don't enjoy it. It's not something that my wife enjoys cooking, but it's not something that I truly enjoy doing. It's like I said, I just do it because I'm hungry. But there are times when, we're not going out to dinner. We may have somebody over and you want to do something nicer than my skill set is able to do. And my wife isn't necessarily, the one that's cooking for this particular meal. I can see buying something like this if all I have to do is follow some instructions and heat stuff up. I would be a customer of this because I've done things like I can't even think of the subscription, but it comes, like every other week or something like that, and it feeds, my wife and I with 2 meals.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to cook everything. This is a step closer to my area to where I don't have to really cook it. I just maybe have to heat it up, maybe saute something or something like that and assemble.
Yeah.
That's right up my alley when you're talking about the quality of the food that you're getting.
Rob, you can do that. Like you can order meals on Goldbelly individually. You don't have to do the Chef of the Month thing. That's just a new feature that they've added. But like David Chang, Momofuku, you can get the half Bosom dinner serves 4 to 6 for $200 and have it shipped to you right now. Like you don't have to sign up for the subscription. So I'd be a fan of that.
It would be more like special occasion. It's someone's birthday. Maybe that's their favorite meal, and it's
or somebody who's just like really into like gourmet food but can't travel as much as they want. You buy them this gift. You could do every month, until you cancel, or you could do 3 or 6 months where they just automatically end. So it makes a nice gift too. But you're definitely paying more than you would if you went to the grocery store and made this yourself.
I will say, having used Goldbelly exclusively either for sending gifts to people, like, hey, anniversary, here's a pie, or just me because I want the pie. The cooking barrier,
treat yourself.
It's actually pretty low barrier. I was surprised. I thought it would be a little more involved. I thought it was like a Blue Apron kind of thing, like where you had to,
where you still have to cook.
Like
recipe.
Like this was like stick it in the oven for like 45 minutes at this temperature and then pull it out, and it was really good. And this is the thing, it's not for me, it's not a regular thing, but it is a nice treat, especially around the holidays or around a special occasion. It's really cool to get a great tasting blueberry pie from this place in Michigan. The name totally escapes me. And like when I pay the money, it's higher than what I could get for a locally like supermarket pie, but like you don't feel cheated. You feel like, this is money well spent.
Because of the quality of the food?
Yeah, there's nothing more aggravating than overpaying for crappy food. But when you pay like $60 for like, okay, this meal feels like it's $60 worth, you don't feel bad.
I mean, I think a lot of us, for whatever reason, have that. Let's use pizza as an example. It's like,
sure,
that's the best pizza. Maybe that pizza place is nowhere near me. It doesn't make sense for to get it like delivered on my own. Something like Goldbelly could do that really well. And also, again, going back to the 4 people for $160 a month, that's a meal. But imagine, if the 4 of us went out to dinner, we all get, a New York steak and maybe a beer. It's going to be more than $160.
It's going to be well more than $60.
Even without the beer, it's going to be more than that. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So it's again, it feels like this is a fun splurge for certain people who care about this kind of thing. I made some Trader Joe's Kung Pao chicken last night out of the freezer. It was delicious. It was easy.
Mm-hmm.
It took me maybe 10 minutes. Basically all I did was just heat it up, all good. Add some sauce. Boom. If you have that favorite Kung Pao recipe from somewhere that cannot compare to anything that Trader Joe's will give you, then that's what this is for.
So Mindjet Video asks if the article mentioned packaging. It doesn't. But Roger, you've ordered a bunch. What is the typical packaging from Goldbelly?
It's pretty sturdy. Oh, and they do have instructions on the side of the box For example, the pie I got, it says this
Yeah,
way
yeah.
up, like telling the delivery person always to keep it up in a specific position. I also ordered Lou Malnati's.
Is it recyclable packaging or though? Or
Yeah,
is
it's cardboard.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you recycle cardboard. Yeah. But I ordered the Lou Malnati deep dish pizzas. You could get it from Taste of Chicago as well. It's roughly the same price. But when they ship it, because it's frozen and you have to bake it, they ship it with a little puck of dry ice. So it keeps it frozen the entire trip. So when you get it, and by the way, these pizzas are amazing. Like, it's incredible.
They're all right. Yeah. Ain't bad.
I'll say
Eye of
this.
the beholder.
I've given eye of the taster, but I gave at least 5 different
Tongue
people.
of the taster.
I sent 5 different people like
Esophagus
an order of 2
of
of these pizzas. It's like
recipient.
and it's great because they also do like gluten free. So if you have people with certain food allergies, you can shop around that and still get them something special. I definitely not a regular thing, but if you want to say like, man, this is really great. I want to wish you guys a happy anniversary. I know you love this stuff. Here you go. It's a perfect way to do it.
Do we consider ordering food on the internet, whether it's delivery like this or delivery like DoorDash, excessive?
I mean, it's excessive to my wallet. That is. If I do it too often, I'm like, I'm burning money. This is something that I should do, because I'm treating myself, not because I'm hungry.
I do it as a treat, but if I will order online, there's a couple of restaurants near me that you order online, then you just drive over and pick it up like pizza, and it's it's the same price than if you just ordered directly. Saves me time, but there is some legwork. The delivery is really great because it's like, man, I really wish I had Arby's. I really love the Arby's roast beef sandwich. I don't care what anyone says, but there's spongy meat. There's something about it really good. They deliver it now. I'm happy as a clam.
I love this for you.
Yeah, it gets expensive. Like, so I was doing HelloFresh pretty regularly. And just over time, when we found, 15, 20 meals that I liked, it's like, okay, well, I know what the ingredients are now. So I started just buying the ingredients from the regular grocery store. And we do I just go and, they'll bring it right out to the car, put it in the back, in the truck for you. So it's almost like HelloFresh, except I've just got to go to the store and pick it up. But, so it does get expensive, and it is significantly more expensive than cooking the food yourself, getting the food yourself from the local grocery store. But like for those times when you just want to splurge a little bit, it's nice to be able to do it.
And there's so many tiers of that, right? It's like I've got my food for less down the street. Then I've got my kind of more bougie Sprouts Market on the other side. If I really want to splurge, then I order ramen and sit around in my PJs and have somebody bring it to my door. I mean, I know what I'm doing it. You're not going to. I don't think anybody should be surprised when they're like, food delivery seems to be more expensive than to do it all myself from scratch.
Except in some countries, it's not. They always charge a little bit of a fee, but in some countries, they're so pervasive with delivery because they're so dense and it's not as far that it's cheap. But certainly in Los Angeles, it's not going to be cheap.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess the cheapest thing would be to, have the whole thing in my own farm. Don't have that.
Or live on bread and water.
I mean,
Or live on
sometimes
bread
not
water.
though. If you value your time properly, it's not cheaper because then you have to grow it and put in all that work. That's expensive. That's time you can't be working on anything else.
Yeah. Time is money. Time is money.
Time is money, friend.
I read that somewhere. Not
Time
sure
is
who
also
said
an
it.
ingredient.
An ingredient for our Friday show is another week of fun time quizzes. Roger puts these together every week. We have a lot of fun with them. So let's dive right into it. What do we got?
So with TikTok being such a headline grabber this week, I thought we would do something along the lines of how much do you really know about TikTok, not about the case in particular or certain facets, but what you know about TikTok.
Before it goes away, what do we know about it?
What do you know about it? As the platform, you might know less or actually more than you think you do.
I honestly don't think it's going to go away. Just before we get on the quiz.
No.
I feel like there's going to be something that happens Saturday night, if not sooner.
When we reconvene Monday, I think TikTok will still be accessible in the United States of America.
I believe ever since the end of the pandemic, a lot of things have been a lot more dramatic than they actually are. But we'll see. In which year? This should be easy. Which year was TikTok created? The year.
Douyin or TikTok?
No, TikTok
or Musically?
TikTok in the US.
TikTok US.
After it was rebranded.
So
right?
so basically, what year did they rebrand Musically as TikTok?
I'm going to say 2016.
2016 from Len.
And I would say Len is right.
Len is right from Rob.
I'll go 2019. I'll go a little later.
All right, Tom is 2019.
I feel like it was sooner than that, but I don't remember Musically at all. I didn't use it. 2018.
All right, Len and Rob, you both win.
I sort of remember it kind of
Years.
entering.
What is the actual definition of the answer? Like 2016 is when what happened?
Is when TikTok was formally introduced and launched as TikTok in the U.S.
So is when they relaunched Musically under the name TikTok in the United States.
Well, unfortunately, that kills one of the questions. But when Musically was acquired, they merged all the functionality in Musically into what they were creating with TikTok.
So did they launch TikTok then before Musically?
Musically they acquired it, and they were building TikTok, and they just
Okay, so they acquired Musically and then
yes.
Gotcha. All right.
So let me kill this one question since that one.
No, leave it.
Okay.
Just let us get one right.
All right. Okay, question
My
two.
gosh, this is supposed to be fun, Roger.
Yeah.
All right. Don't use ChatGPT, kids.
Yeah, this isn't the ACT. This isn't determining if we get into college.
That's
I didn't know
overrated
that
anyway.
was possible that we could do that. Are we allowed to do that?
Oh, we'll see if the ACT allows ChatGPT. According to Statista, how many minutes, rounded up, does the average American adult spend on TikTok in one day? In one day.
Ooh, in one day.
Oh,
Ooh, I'd
adult.
say, average adult. So not like somebody who's
Average
a
US
content
adult.
creator.
American adult, yeah.
So you throw me off
Yeah.
with the adult because that probably makes the number go down some if you had children.
This is how they do the study. So anyone 18 and over.
It's us.
Okay.
18 and over.
97 minutes.
97 minutes a
Seven.
day? Oh gosh, I'd say
Yes.
more like 25.
Tom. Wait.
no.
So 97, Tom. 25, Sarah.
I'm
I'll
gonna
say.
go.
Go ahead, Rob.
I want to go an hour and 8 minutes.
Hour 8
Ooh.
minutes.
Like 68
like
So
minutes.
Price is
68
Right.
minutes.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna
Price
say.
is right.
I'm gonna say 87 minutes.
Can I change my answer?
Okay.
I want 1 minute. If this
1
is the
minute.
price is right, I'm going with 1 minute.
So wait.
I'm still gonna beat you, Rob.
'Cause you
I'm
think
gonna
all of
beat
us
you.
are over.
All right.
So Sarah went with 20. I'll go with 26 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with
okay.
I'm still going to stick
So
with my
so
68
Sarah,
minutes.
25, Rob 26.
No,
Len,
20.
you said 87?
Why don't you write those down so we don't have to keep going back over?
All right. In any case, the actual answer is 58 minutes.
Ooh.
58. Okay,
Almost
yeah.
close to an hour.
Okay. All right.
The older demo brings it down to
Rob
58,
wins.
but
Yeah.
I bet if it was 18 to 34,
By the Price is Right.
you'd be more to
rules.
97.
And based on this same research that Statista did, only Netflix beat it at 62 minutes on average for a day.
Right.
And YouTube came in at third place with 48.7
The
minutes.
average number of minutes in a Netflix video are also quite a bit higher than TikTok.
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
By orders of
How
magnitude.
many
That'd be about
minutes
60
do you
times.
sit sifting through movies on Netflix till you find something?
Oh
you
yeah,
wanna
that's
watch?
way higher.
I did
that's
that
3 hours a day.
I will tell you how bad it is. I sifted through Netflix for like 15 minutes to find something to watch, and I just started up YouTube.
So Tom, I bet that if you were able to add children into this, I bet you would be right up there over an hour and a half. In fact, you'd
Or
probably be
yeah,
closer to 2 hours.
if you either add younger people or bring down the top age and get rid of the older folks. So yeah,
Right.
One of the
I
other.
should have gone with my first instinct because I don't spend any time on TikTok. So it's like, like, and when I
knew
did,
it was going to be
maybe
bigger
like
than
20
I
minutes.
I think most like 35 plus people spend on TikTok, but I overdid it.
Yeah, I guess when I heard adult, I was like, adult like me, who has no time for things like this.
No,
25
and I
minutes is
think
about
you're right. But from 20 to 34,
There's more.
those adults are spending a lot of time on it. And then
Well, and
even
I
from
think I
34 to
have to-
54,
But
some people
Tom,
are still spending a lot of time.
And I have to
Sarah
remind
is
myself
only
that
25. Sarah's only
I'm only
25.
25.
That's
Yeah,
true. I heard
let's
that
all remember
yesterday.
that.
She's a busy 20-year-old.
25 for life.
I did watch yesterday's show. I knew that. I apologize.
Thank you. I
All
appreciate
right, here comes softball question 3. What was the name of the product that ByteDance combined with TikTok before the app's American launch?
music.
Musically.
From Rob, from Tom, from Len,
Yeah.
and Sarah.
I don't think Tom said anything.
I haven't said anything yet.
I know.
I was
See how y'all
ventriloquist
talked
for
about it.
Tom.
Tom's using
Don't
ChatGPT.
speak for me.
Get him.
No, it's me.
All right, everyone wins. That's Musically. Initially released in August 2014, TikTok merged with Musically on August 2nd, 2018, with the existing accounts and data consolidated into one app.
So Musically was the Santa Monica-based
Yes.
company. TikTok was not ByteDance's. ByteDance bought TikTok from like somewhere in India, I think, if I'm remembering right, and then merged it into Douyin, which it still is called. And yeah, that leads us to the next question.
All right. TikTok's counterpart in China is called Douyin. Douyin. Was it? No, it's not. It's Douyin. Douyin. What does it mean in Chinese? What does that name of the company mean?
Ooh, I don't know.
I have no clue, so I'm just going to say time waster.
Time waster from Rob.
Phone number and ID, please. Is what you need to sign up for.
I'm going to say cookie goodness.
Cookie,
Ooh.
like eating cookie.
Cookie goodness.
I have no
Cookie
idea.
goodness. Yeah. It's not bad. It's not a bad guess.
It's up for you.
Yes.
You can claim the win, Sarah, if you get this right.
All the people who speak Mandarin in the audience are rolling their eyes. They're like, well, it's obvious what it means.
Yeah, I know.
Rolling is actually
we're not
part of this, but we'll
Really?
we'll see. So,
Rolling Thunder.
Oh no, I don't have a funny retort. So
you don't want to throw a dart into the darkness.
Yeah, come on.
YouTube.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not bad.
It's just Chinese for YouTube.
All right,
which
you're
is
all
banned
wrong.
in China, so they could use it. It was free.
It means shaking sound.
Oh, it's not rolling, it's
of
shaking.
course, that was the
Well, shaking,
second
but
one
rolling,
I
I
was
was
gonna
thinking.
say
Shaking sound.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Shaking.
Interesting.
Which part is shaking and which part is sound?
I think
would
your
say-
brain is shaking
so, yeah.
from the sound.
I would have said that sound was the second part, but now I'm not
safe.
so
It's
sure.
Fine.
Okay, all right.
In clinical trials, totally safe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. I don't want to be wrong, so I'll keep it to myself until I figure this out later.
All right, yeah, that's fine.
To the nearest billion, how much revenue was TikTok estimated to have generated in the U.S. market in 2024?
To the nearest billion.
So you just give like a number,
So
like
two.
round it
Yeah.
up or down. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 billion.
Billion. I'm going to say 6.
6 from Len, 2 from Tom.
How many $1 billion? I think it's more than both of you. I'm gonna say 10. 10 billion.
10
More
billion
than I
for-
That's
have.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's more than I have too, just barely.
Yeah, just by
Yeah,
a smidge.
but more than I have.
I think it's way more. I'm going to go 18 billion.
Ooh,
18
okay.
billion. Wow.
That's a lot of money.
Wow, you can think big.
Bold
Sarah was the closest because it was 11 billion.
Wow.
11,
Oh, wow.
11.01.
Huh.
Oh, sorry,
That's
I
a
don't
lot
have
of
any
revenue
music.
for Instagram
I wish I
and YouTube
got
to
$10
split
billion
up.
for getting that right, but
That's a
I'll
lot
take
of
it.
money, man.
I'll take
Yeah.
I'll take
I-
just
I'll-
the
I'll
admiration of my peers.
I'll take a % of $1 billion.
Yeah.
And I'd be happy.
Yeah,
I'll take a
seriously.
percent of $1,000.
Yeah.
Google and Meta will gladly take that money.
So much money. Like even a game of life, the bills didn't go that high. Or not the bills, but like the currency, like you added on wouldn't go up to.
Yeah. Things are more expensive these days. I got
Yeah,
it.
Monopoly. What's it
Monopoly,
for,
yeah.
boomers.
Have you seen the price of eggs?
Have you seen the price of what was that one place that you always had to get in the corner of Monopoly? All right, and question 6. No, I'm just trying to remember. There's the one corner that if you got
jail. That's when you go to jail.
No, the other one where every time you
Do
pass,
not
you have
pass
to pay
go.
out or something.
Boardwalk.
All right. In question 6, 2023, TikTok launched a 5-day trivia marathon. Which film studio sponsored the event? Bonus points for the movie that it was promoting alongside the trivia marathon.
I'm gonna guess Netflix and
Chill.
No. Well, I mean, maybe go ahead and chill. I don't care. But Stranger Things.
Well, it's a movie though, right? Not a TV
Yes,
show.
it's a movie. It's a film.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. I retract that.
Interesting.
The movie,
I'm with you
it was
on
somebody
Netflix. Like
alongside-
Red Notice. Was that
How about
23?
how
I
about
can't remember 2023
how about
anymore.
Top Gun, the new Top Gun?
Ooh, that's
Oh,
a good.
that's a good
okay, I
one.
changed
That's
my
a good
answer. It's
one.
Top Gun.
That's a good family
That's
feud
Paramount, right?
Oh, but Top Gun was
Yeah.
2022, I think.
answer.
No,
was?
it was
Was it?
23.
It was
Okay,
2023.
it was
Yeah,
2023,
it was
yeah.
2023. Yes,
2023.
that's
Gears
Top
mean
Gun.
nothing to me anymore. So
I'm gonna,
Yeah.
you know,
I
this
know.
is so wrong.
I don't even know how
the
old I
only
am.
movie I can think of.
yeah,
Apple
you're 21.
Studios,
25, Tom.
which is wrong, and Argyle.
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 Oh, the one with the weird
Henry Cavill was
Yeah,
on
it's
it.
like a weird-
Interesting.
And Dua Lipa.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a complete guess. I want to say Sony and
Okay.
one of the cartoon Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse
Oh,
or
yeah,
whatever.
Oh, that's a good. That's a good.
Meta-
Huh.
yeah.
I mean, those are all great guesses. They're all wrong. I'll give you. I'll give you the name of the studio, and you try to figure out the movie.
Okay.
Lionsgate Studio. It was a Lionsgate movie.
Oh, free guy.
Free Guy. Nope.
No.
How?
I don't know
Yeah,
that I
it's not
can name a
helping me.
Lionsgate movie.
All right.
off my
Here,
head.
I'll say this.
It's a good
It-
clue. It's a good
It is
clue.
a fourth and
like, tell us the letter
it was
starts with.
it was the fourth installment of a popular action movie series.
Fast
Mission
and
Impossible.
Furious.
Fourth.
Fourth
in
Am I
2023.
No, MI4 was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2023.
Fourth
2023.
installment.
Yeah.
of a Lionsgate.
John
Remember
Wick.
Lionsgate?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
John
Wick.
Wick 4.
John Wick 4.
John Wick Chapter 4.
John Wick 4.
Wow.
The
Don't
Wickness
say
is
it
wickening.
incorrectly.
yeah.
John Wick Chapter
Wickening.
4.
The Wicked.
Wow.
I love how
The
Roger's
Wickening.
sort of like, I don't really know the answer to some
I
of
like,
these
he's like
either.
giving us clues until I
And
say
other
John
times
Wick,
he's
and he's like,
no, that is incorrect. You have
No,
to
no,
phrase
it's
it
close.
in
It's
terms of a
well, the
question.
name of the movie is John Wick Chapter 4. So
Yeah.
four is-
Chapter 4. Okay.
Did it,
okay.
and how did it do? Did it do well for them or no?
it did
the
well
movie-
for Keanu, I think.
Yeah, it's like it was not a bad John. I mean, it's John Wick.
I mean,
so
Yeah, I mean, if you
Yeah.
just need, if you just need action sequence, tied together with some
Yeah.
dialogue,
A lot
that's
of people
John
like
Wick.
that.
Yeah.
John Wick 4, something wickness this way comes. John Wick 4, so much wickening.
So much.
the wicked.
These are,
All right.
these are great.
So we get the Highlander to John Wick mashup.
All right.
Highlander.
I
to
figure
Wicked.
I figure Rob or
If the
Len
dog
or
comes
Sarah
away
will
from
get
its
this
owner,
next one.
it's over.
Okay.
What year did the NFL announce a multi-year partnership with TikTok?
2018.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. 2018. I'll say 2019.
I have no
All right.
clue. So I'll just say 2020. I'm just going to keep going.
Earlier than you think.
That would have
Yeah.
been an interesting time to do it.
Like they could have announced it before March, and
Yeah.
I mean, I actually have no idea. So if
No clue.
everybody said 2018, 2019, and 2020, I'll say 2017.
all right, one of us has to win. Who
All
is it?
right, Len. You unfortunately are the winner because it was 2019.
2019.
Unfortunately.
Why is that
Len?
unfortunately?
Gosh,
I knew it was more recent.
realize you were so
or
angry at Len.
farther back than you would think like, oh, it just happened.
No, I'm just trying to save Len from further scrutiny because he's so good at these.
I see. Because I get these right. I haven't gotten any.
Oh
of
yeah,
these
no.
right, so.
The Supreme Court determined that Len is only subject to intermediate scrutiny because he is a foreign-owned adversarial corporation.
Please,
Kind of like
do not
on
bring this
Jeopardy
up.
when Len wins every time. The rest of us are like, "I'll shake your hand."
Len will be hosting this quiz eventually. eventually,
Yeah.
once Alex Trebek
I was doing
retires,
terrible
like-
in this one, so I don't think I was very good at this.
All right. This last one should either be a breeze or be the most difficult thing you've ever tried to figure out.
Great.
In 2023, there was a trend on TikTok food videos explaining how to use this particular ingredient in a number of dishes like ice creams, cookie doughs, and other foods like salads. It was so influential that it caused a spike in the sales of this said ingredient in the U.S. and the U.K.
Cottage
What is that?
cheese.
Cottage cheese, for sure. Tom.
Yeah, I was trying to remember which one because there's been so many of this. Like if you had put a different year, there'd be a different answer to this exact question otherwise. But yeah, cottage cheese. That's
two cottage cheese.
I was going to say yogurt.
Yogurt from Len.
I'll just go completely from left field. Let's go sriracha hot sauce.
Ooh, that's not a bad
Cookies,
guess.
though.
It's not
Wow.
a bad
All right.
guess.
Well, the hosts of DTNS get this DTNS live. Sarah and
That's
Tom.
Rob also.
I just realized that. Tom and Sarah get this.
Have you tried
that-
this? Have you tried cottage cheese?
we did. We tried to make cottage cheese potato chips.
Like a dip or like actual
did
chips?
No,
they
like
work
like like
out?
you make them into like little fried cheese potato chip thingies. They were good, but they did not taste like potato chips to me. If that makes sense. Like they
Did
were
it taste like-
crispy and salty and stuff, but I was like, yeah, but these don't replace potato chips. I kind of
think
want to
so.
have them with potato chips.
In all honesty, anybody who has listened to a Good Day Internet and now DTNS Live for some time knows that Tom told me about cottage cheese on TikTok.
Oh, I'd forgotten
originally.
about that.
Yeah. So it's
Well, and
it
Eileen
took a
told
village on this
me,
one.
so
Yeah.
it does take a village. We did the cookies too with the cottage cheese.
Oh, how did those turn out?
Those were fine. They tasted like cookies. They were a little softer, but I kind of like my cookies softer, so I was fine with that.
The Cottage
Oh, yeah.
Cheese Association coming out.
Yeah.
Well, no, I remember we were talking about
There's a
it
little
because
cottage
Scott
industry in.
Johnson has an aversion to cottage cheese. He's like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm like, I think it's like the most amazing thing.
Really?
I mean,
I love cottage cheese. Yeah.
cottage cheese over lots of things,
Sour cream?
Add a little nutritional yeast flakes in there. You got yourself a lunch.
How much difference is there
Not
between
for
sour
me.
cream and cottage cheese?
Well, I know. But I am a weird eater.
I mean, my
But
wife
I'm
loves
alive,
it. It's
I don't see
I have
myself
no
going to
conscious
cottage.
memory of eating cottage cheese on purpose. And then also, I don't know if I'm the only one on online right now, but I don't have TikTok. I probably have a TikTok account because I would imagine that when my child was young and wanted to get on TikTok, I signed it up to see what it was all
To
about.
see what it was about. Yeah.
And I doubt that I deleted the account, but I don't know that I've ever installed TikTok on my own device. And I see TikTok videos all the time. It's just that I don't see them via the TikTok app. I see them where they come up on Instagram Reels or they come up in Facebook or something else. But yeah, I don't believe I've ever installed the TikTok application on any device that I personally use.
I have a friend who every time I send them a TikTok video that I think will make them chuckle or, whatever, they say, I don't have TikTok on my phone. And I'm like, you can go to the web on your phone.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. You can, if you really want
Do you have the internet on your phone?
to. Well,
I have to
and
check.
if you don't, then you don't. But then you wouldn't have gotten my message in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, let's check out the mailbag. In response to our conversation about Diamond on Wednesday's show with Scott Johnson, Brian wrote in, one of the major issues for Diamond is that they haven't distributed Marvel or DC Comics since the early 2020s. Marvel has an exclusive deal with Penguin Random House, and DC is distributed by Universal Distribution. With those big players jumping ship, it became much easier for smaller publishers to follow suit, as they could guarantee that shops would have deals with these distributors.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep.
All right, that's all
Bye,
we have to say
Diamond.
about that.
I mean, I'll say this: Diamond did itself no favors because they were pretty heavy-handed when they ruled the roost with a lot of people, and it just people have long memories.
Yeah, not a lot of really good remembrances of Diamond online this week. And people, a lot of comic book shops are like, oh well, we get it from somebody else. So.
Well, for anyone else who would like to let us know about what we talk about on the show, remember, you can send in your comments to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com.
All right, let's check in with Len's art. Len, you've been drawing something during today's show. What was it that you drew for us today?
You know, I know you guys have talked this to death, but I say at the top of the show, I'm drawing the top tech stories.
Yeah.
Including Ohio. And this is the top tech story. It's TikTok possibly being banned on the 19th, and it's a talk block. So I thought you might like that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's talk block.
I mean, for anybody not watching, I mean, this is such a great reason to watch because
it is so good.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
This is Joe Congressman holding out a hand saying
says FYP, but it stands for something
Fork.
else. You're just going to have to watch the video to see what it stands for.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. That's fantastic, Len. If folks want to adorn their house with that art, where should they go?
They should go, well, if they're a Patreon sponsor, they can get it right now at the DTNS lover level. Go to my Patreon, patreon.com/Len, or at my online store. You can pick it up the old-fashioned way at lenperaltastore.com. And we'll see what happens over the weekend. Should be an interesting weekend for sure.
All right, we got 31 DTNS titles at showbot.tv, dtns.showbot.tv, 26 votes. Top vote getter right at this very moment is Fred819. TikTok just might stop. TikTok just might stop.
Yeah, I like that.
We also got some good ones from C-Spawn, Gilded Age of Food Delivery. Zoe Brings Bacon with Teaching Kids Differently. I like that one. Mm-hmm. The Wick and the Dead.
That's a good one.
That's really good. I like that one.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
But we did choose C-Spawn's The Gilded Age of Food Delivery.
Thank you, C-Spawn.
And
Also, big thanks to folks watching us on LinkedIn, watching us on YouTube. Laminar Rainbow has been doing the Lord's work, giving us super stickers, but took the day off and C-Spawn picked it up. Thank you, C-Spawn, for the super sticker today. And thank you, Laminar, for all the previous ones too, man. Y'all are great. Big thanks to people on Twitch supporting us over there, like SW Texas cheered us with 100 bits and resubscribed for the 42nd month. Good to see you, man. Zoe Brings Bacon with some bits. Frank Tankland followed us. Jimmy the Brush gave us a shout out. And we got some raises on Patreon. Thanks, folks, for noticing the hard work we're putting in and saying, you know what, you deserve a little more for that. Sam, Toby, Leonidas, and Chris all gave us a raise. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Patreon.com/DTNS.
Nice job.
we are off Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday here in the U.S., but we will be back Tuesday with Nica Montford. You can watch us live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. You can find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live, and we'll have Daily Tech headlines for you on Monday as well. We'll see you Tuesday.
This week's episodes of Daily Tech News Show Live were created by the following people. Producer and host Sarah Lane. Host Tom Merritt. Host Rob Dunwood. Producer Roger Chang. Video producer Joe Kuntz. Producer at large Anthony Lemos. Social media producer and moderator Zoe Detterding. Our mods: Beatmaster, W. Scottus 1, BioCow, Captain Kipper, Steve Guadarrama, Paul Reese, Matthew J. Stevens, aka Gadget Virtuoso, and JD Galloway. Mod and video hosting by Dan Christensen. Music and art provided by Martin Bell, Dan Luders, and art by Len Peralta. Acast ad support from Tatiana Matias. Patreon support from Tom McNeil. Contributors for this week's show include Justin Robert Young, Chris Christensen, and Scott Johnson. And our guest this week was Andrea Jones-Roy. Thanks to all our patrons who make the show possible.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.